welcome to episode 8 of a Disney Live podcast. This is a place where friends, new and old, gather together to discuss all of their Disney adventures. My name is Rachel, and I am joined by my co host, Missy. Hi, Missy.
Hi, Rachel. How are you today?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm hanging in there. I'm ready to talk Disney with you.
Of course. We're so glad that you're here joining us today. And today we have a very special episode. It's Christmas in July.
Yeah.
So, yay! We're festive and we're going to talk about the most magical time of the year at the most magical place on earth. We'll be discussing some of our holiday favorites around the parks and resorts. Plus, we offer a top 5 on our favorite souvenirs to bring home, our favorite resort at Christmas time, and of course, our tip of the week.
So for Christmas in July, we figured it would be a lot of fun if we just talked about our favorite things to do at Walt Disney World Resort over the Christmas holiday. They offer so many different things to get you into the holiday spirit and to help you celebrate the holidays that we just couldn't wait until later in the year to celebrate. We thought we'd celebrate now. So I do have my red and green mouse ears on today because I have them readily available in case I ever need them. And, I think Christmas is the only time of year at the parks that I actually wear mouse ears. How about you, Rachel? Do you ever wear mouse ears?
I do not, but I have an unusually large head, so they are not comfortable.
That is not a fact. Maybe you're wearing them wrong.
I might be. I don't know. They give me a headache. I think they're super cute, but I get a headache pretty quick into them. So I just don't even try anymore at this point. I'd much rather just be less festive and headache free.
Okay, so I don't want you to have a headache, but I do encourage you, maybe you should try a pair from somewhere other than the Disney Parks collection. Maybe, like I've gotten some at Hobby Lobby before that are so lightweight and they seem to have more give and flexibility around the band and they don't bother me. So maybe you should try that because
and I've
I
seen
can't
some
help
before
but be festive. I just have to when I'm there that time of year. I can't help it. I need to dress the part, I guess.
Right. No, well, I do wear festive Disney sweatshirts as much as possible when I'm there. So when the weather is nice or in the evenings and the sun goes down, it does get cool that time of year. I do. I have one that I had embroidered and I love it. It's all the park icons. And so it's a black sweatshirt. The park icons are all in silver. And then there's red and green Christmas lights flowing through the park icons. I love it. And I got so many compliments on it the last time I was there. And especially when cast members compliment your sweatshirt, you know you've got something good going.
That sounds super cute. I don't think I've ever seen that. So I'll keep an eye out for it the next time we're at the parks over the holidays so I could see that. You know, another thing, in addition to sweatshirts that time of year that there are so many festive ones, as I'm always so tempted to wear one of the Mickey ear Santa hats or the mini ear Santa hats. I think maybe there's been one time in all of the years I've been there that I was actually able to wear it and be comfortable and not sweating.
Yeah, that's that's a good thing to consider.
I always want to wear them so badly because I think they're so adorable. And you see people around the parks wearing them and looking so cute. And I just feel like I'm drenched and my hair's all wet and it's gross. So I do wear mine at home quite a bit. During the holidays, it is my go-to hat of choice many days for different outings around here. And in Pennsylvania, there are plenty days to wear a warm hat.
Yeah, they definitely are. Definitely.
So when you think of Walt Disney World Resort over the Christmas holidays, there are a few big things that come to mind. To me, it's decorations and food. Those are the two big things. And of course, there are subcategories under each of those major things. But I wanted to start talking a bit about the decorations. So one of my favorite things to do at Disney World at Christmas time doesn't happen in the parks. It is in the resort hotels. And I could easily take an entire day just visiting the Disney World Resort hotels and seeing their Christmas decorations.
Yes, same here. I think last trip that I had during the Christmas time season, we took half a day and did the monorail loop just because those resorts especially are always decorated pretty nice. And if you're staying on property, your resort is going to be decorated for Christmas no matter where you are staying. So you will see a Christmas tree in the lobby, some other decorations, and they're themed very well to where you are staying. But I love it too. You absolutely could take a day, if not more. So if you have a rest day planned, go around to the resorts and check out all the decorations. It's really fun to do.
So we did mention in last week's episode when we were discussing fall travel to Disney World that you'll typically see fall end and Christmas begin quite immediately after Halloween. So usually by November 7th or 8th or so, at least, you'll see many of the resort trees up, but they are staggered in when they're placed. So not every resort will immediately have trees. Usually by the third week of November, I think pretty much all of them are up. And then of course, Epcot is the last park to be decorated with the Festival of the Holidays beginning after the Food and Wine Festival ends. So if you're thinking about planning your family trip to Disney World over the holidays, it's pretty safe to say that later in November is an ideal place to start, but you will see holiday decorations earlier than that.
Yes, you absolutely will. Last year we were at Walt Disney World the week before Thanksgiving, and so the Festival of the Holidays had not started yet. They were still running wine and dine food and wine. I'm thinking of the half marathon right now. They were still running food and wine, but we could still our resort was decorated, resorts were decorated. You could still see a lot of things and in the parks too and everything. I am sad that we missed the Festival of the Holidays, but food and wine's my favorite festival, so I was happy to be there for the tail end of that too.
So, concerning the resort trees, many of them have a giant tree. All of them will have a tree of some sort. I think taking a ride around the monorail loop, like Rachel had mentioned, she did with her family last year, and taking a little break at each resort is a great way to spend either a morning or afternoon or an evening. And you could extend that by disembarking the monorail at the Magic Kingdom and then taking a ferry boat over to Wilderness Lodge and checking out the tree there as well. And then you could hop over to the Fort Wilderness Campground also, where they have all sorts of decorations at the campsites that are not displayed by Disney. They're actually displayed by guests. And I think that's such an exciting and unique tradition that has started over there and has been going on for years at the campground, that Disney guests will participate in decorating Disney World for other guests to enjoy during the holidays.
Yes, and they get into it as well. So it's been a while since I've gone through the Fort Wilderness campground as far as going through the campsites during Christmas time. But yes, the guests there love it. I think that it's kind of hard, I think, at times to find a campsite around that time of year because people go and they park and they can do so pretty inexpensively, all things considered, and it makes it really festive. So I like that the guests are getting into that.
And you could even experience it with a horse and carriage ride. We did that years ago, something
Oh,
that
that's
you can
fun.
book ahead of time to ride around and see lights, or you can just go at your convenience and leisure to check that out. So I think that's a fun thing also.
Yeah, and don't forget the Skyliner. Get on the Skyliner and check out those resorts too. The ones especially around Epcot, Boardwalk, Yacht and Beach Club. Those are gorgeous at Christmas time. And you've got Riviera, Caribbean Beach, and you have Art of Animation and Pop Century as well that you can go and visit too easily.
And in addition to the trees, many of the deluxe resorts will have a gingerbread display. Coming up here in 2025, sadly, it has been announced by Disney that the most popular gingerbread display on property, which is the one that historically has been at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa, will not be there this year. I'm hoping that maybe that will change and update, but it has been posted on the website under the Grand Floridian information that due to the construction in the lobby this year, that will not be there. However, there still hopefully will be displays in the other deluxe resorts. So I know there is always one in the Contemporary, which is on that main level. And you could even see it if you don't have time to stop there and you're just riding the monorail through. You can look down out of your monorail car onto that. What do they call that there? Is it the fourth, like that concourse, I guess is
Yeah,
what
the
they
concourse.
call it.
If you see Chef Mickey's, it's in the opposite direction.
Right.
So
So it's
look,
mirrored to Chef
yes,
Mickey's,
yes,
right?
it's
So you can
very
look
Chef
there to
Mickey's.
see it. Wilderness Lodge usually has an adorable display of different kinds of snacks and treats you could buy also, in addition to sometimes having a gingerbread display. Over at Disney's Beach Club Resort, you'll find a carousel made of gingerbread. And again, a nice little snack bar with some special offerings for the holidays. We'll get into snacks in just a bit here. There's a great train display, a train platform display in the lobby of Disney's Yacht Club Resort. We love checking that out. Of course, the Boardwalk Inn will be decorated as well, and they always have some snacks and treats. What ones are the first ones that come to your mind, Rachel, when you're thinking of the resorts, or any that I didn't hit?
Well, I also mentioned Animal Kingdom Lodge typically has a gingerbread display, and the last couple of times that I've seen it, it's been down by Boma, so you have to go through the lobby and then actually go downstairs, but they'll have some kind of ginger animal display, we'll call it that. It is not But they'll usually make some sort of animals that are native to the continent of Africa that are they are made out of gingerbread for that. But obviously the one at Grand Floridian, I think just because that's so iconic. But to me, the beach club, the carousel at Beach Club, it's themed different every year. It's so fun to go and watch it actually move and rotate and see all the different elements and everything that they put into it. That's a lot of work that goes into it, and it's very impressive year in and year out.
And of course, a lot of the focus is on the deluxe resorts, but the value and moderate resorts will have a lot to see also. From the wreaths and garland decorations that light up, they'll have their trees as well. The one that always stands out the most in my memory for value resorts is the tree at Disney's Art of Animation. Have you seen that one, Rachel? It's
I
usually
have.
a white tree,
Yes.
like a glowing white tree rather than a standard green evergreen tree with very colorful decorations on that. And I think that's so unique to that resort. And that one stands out a lot to me in my memory.
Yeah, and I love that they do that with the white tree and especially with Art of Animation. The lobby is so colorful when you walk in there. So I think that's a bit on purpose and good planning on their part. Another one to me, interestingly, that I always think about is Old Key West. When you walk in the lobby of Old Key West, it's kind of small and you don't have a huge tree in there. But when you walk outside of the lobby and you have the water there, they have a lot of Christmas decorations around the water. And they're just something, I don't know, so special about that part of the resort to me to see the Christmas decorations around the water and more outside of that main part of the lobby than inside.
So when you mentioned the decorations reflecting on the water, that immediately took my mind to one park in particular, and that's Disney's Hollywood Studios. So let's get into a little bit about talking about the parks at Christmas time. So Disney's Hollywood Studios, it seems like, I hate to call it a simple display because I know everything there is massive. It's a big undertaking, but just those giant ornament globe balls, baubles, some people call them, lit up and floating on the water and reflecting to me the nostalgic feel of all of the tinsel and garland, the silver and gold decorations all over the place. That just gives me such a childhood feel, a holiday, nostalgic feel. And I love the decorations in that park. Is there anything in Hollywood Studios that sticks out in your mind that we need to discuss for Christmas in July?
We already talked about this a few episodes, but Gertie with the
Mhm.
Santa hat, I love that.
Right.
And I love when you walk in that main area, not only do you have the vintage feel, but they have the vintage Christmas music too.
The music, yes,
Yes, the
yes.
classic Christmas songs as well, but, one thing that sticks out to me, I love that Toy Story Land is decorated for Christmas. The giant Woody that when you walk in, he's got a scarf on, and if you see Buzz out, he'll have a Santa hat on, so I think that's super cute that they do that at Toy Story Land as well, let them get in on the magic of the holidays too.
And of course, Hollywood Studios also has a big tree. Heading over to Epcot now, they will have a large tree also. Of course, that one goes up a little bit later, but it's a beautiful tree with the angel on top and is right at the entrance of World Showcase. So it's in a place where it can be seen from many areas of the park. And like we had mentioned, they also have the Festival of the Holidays there. So there will be numerous food booths with all types of holiday snacks and treats from around the world. Again, I could spend an entire day there
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
snacking around the world.
The cookie stroll, everything.
The cookie stroll is always a fun time. It is definitely, of all of the strolls they have throughout the year, it's my favorite, I think, because not only do they offer the most that I'll actually eat because I'm not a super adventurous eater. I'm very bland and basic, with sugar being one of my main food groups. But it's also stuff that you could package up easily if you bring a couple baggies and take home. So we like to do the cookie stroll and then stash away a few cookies to be able to take home with us when we do that.
It's a great idea, that really is, and I also so one of my favorite things that changed at Epcot during the 50th celebration was when the lights were put on Spaceship Earth, and as they were taking this 50th things down, I thought, "Please don't take these lights down," because it's stunning at night, so at Christmas time, who doesn't love to see a candy cane wrapped Spaceship Earth?
Sorry.
You'll see the lights lit up, with Christmas colors, but that I just every single time that I see Spaceship Earth lit up at night, it just stuns me and amazes me as if I could not love that sphere anymore.
Grand and miraculous for sure.
Yes.
I miss the days over in Animal Kingdom where they used to have that. Was it the Jingle Jungle parade? They called it over there in Animal Kingdom for years. I miss that, but it's still a pretty festive park. I remember last year seeing the projections and the special show on the Tree of Life. That was a lot of fun. And the puppeteers that would be out
Hmm.
during the day greeting guests with the, what did they call it? The menagerie, the
Very menage.
menagerie. Yeah. Um, so that's a lot of fun over in Animal Kingdom also.
Yeah, that is, and those usually are out consistently throughout the day and for the Tree of Life, and you'll see actually different puppets too. So when you enter in the park, you may see different puppets from when you exit the park. So keep an eye out for those. But that's really fun. Kids love that. But I do love the projections, the Tree of Life Awakening Holiday Edition. You also have that over at Hollywood Studios too on the Tower of Terror that they have the Sunset Seasons greetings out there. So making Tower of Terror look more festive and more cheerful. But really, I thought the Tree of Life Awakening projections to begin with were brilliant, and it's beautiful to watch. I love the music at Animal Kingdom is probably some of my favorite music in all of the parks. I love parks music, and I just love the feeling of it and everything like that. And so the music around Tree of Life, especially, and using that in the Tree of Life Awakenings projection show. But then the holiday one, saw that last year, and that was really special too.
So I think when most people think the holidays and Disney World, their minds may immediately go to the Magic Kingdom. We love the dream lights and we will always miss the dream lights, but it is still very magical to stand in front of the castle and see the projections that they have on them during the Christmas season. And then of course we also have Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party to celebrate there. So very much like we discussed in last week's episode about Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, the Christmas party is an extra ticketed event that you can purchase tickets for and get admission to the park beginning at 4 p.m. on ticket days. And then by 6 p.m., the park will be closing to day guests that don't have a ticket, and you'll have a more exclusive event that evening. You won't have trick or treating like you do at the Halloween party, but you will have several cookie and cocoa stations where you can stop and get some complimentary beverages and treats. I think they usually have things besides cookies too, don't they? I'm remembering like a little soft pretzel shaped like a snowman or something like that. I had at the most recent one I was at a couple years ago. All kinds of fun little things there. As Christmas parade that they do at night, the Once Upon a Christmas Time parade, and the holiday fireworks. So there is a ton to do at Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party.
Yes, and of course you have Snope on Main Street. So the night ends with Snope falling down. And one thing that I want to mention at the time of us recording this podcast, those dates have not been announced yet. They should be coming up pretty soon, especially with Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party already announced those dates. But one thing that's interesting, I think, about this party is so Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party does run on Halloween. It runs right up until Halloween. Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party does not run all the way up until Christmas. They usually stop it a few days beforehand. That could be because of the crowd and the crowd demand at that time of year. The week between Christmas and New Year's is historically the most crowded week of the year. So that might have something to do with it. Of course, we never know what's going to happen. Maybe this year they'll surprise us and run it all the way up until pretty close into Christmas. But they usually stop a couple of days beforehand with the party at there. But even if you're not part of the party, obviously the sun's going to go down a lot earlier during the Christmas season. So you still get to see the park lit up in all of its display. Main Street at night is incredible itself. Main Street at night at Christmas is just a whole, it's another level that you couldn't imagine that they could come up with just even more magic in there. But it's so beautiful. And yes, I do miss the lights on the castle. I still kind of have hope that someday these will come back along with some other things that are missing from some other parks like Epcot and Hollywood Studios. But if you remember, as soon as like September 1st hit, if you took a picture of the Magic Kingdom and at Cinderella's castle, you had a crane in the
A
background.
crane. Yep. I think some years it was even before that. And then the crane would be up there for months afterwards, taking the lights down. It was a huge undertaking. And certainly this logistically makes a lot more sense to do the projections. And it is incredibly impressive what they're able to do with the projections on that castle. But the Magic Kingdom is not the only park that has a special special holiday party over at Hollywood Studios. We have the Jollywood Nights party. So they work very, very similar to how the Christmas party works, in that you're purchasing a separate ticket and are allowed into the park that evening only if you have a ticket. And they have a lot of fun character experiences with that event. Rachel, did you attend one of those last year or no?
No, I have not attended one of those, primarily because last year I had traveling with my children. This seems to be more of an adult-oriented party. It's not just for
Mhm.
adults, but the things that are offered there are more appealing to adults than they would be to children. So that was a big factor for us in choosing not to.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. And it was an incredibly popular experience last year when it was offered. And I saw a lot of photos online of guests really all decked out and dressed up in their Hollywood glamour for
Yeah.
the night at the studios there. So if that's something that, you're feeling that vibe and you think you want to get into that, I definitely recommend trying out a night there at the Jollywood Nights.
Yeah, I think last year, the year that it first came out, I know that the first couple of nights, the event was a bit of a mess. There were a lot of mixed reviews. A lot of people felt
Mhm.
like there was some things that were offered, but the timing was not right, and they ended up just
Right.
kind of staying in one spot the entire night, not really being able to see an experience. I think Disney took a lot of the criticisms and
Pretty immediately. They pretty immediately took that and made some updates. Yeah.
yeah, so things seemed to go as the season went on, and then last year the feedback became much more positive on what was going on. But a lot of the popular things that they had last year was it was the Nightmare Before Christmas sing along, they had some dance parties, the Twilight Soiree at the Tip Top Club at Tower of Terror Courtyard seems to be very popular. A lot of people really enjoy that. They also added an ice skating show last year. There were so many character meet and greets. This Jollywood Nights tends to be on Saturday nights. That seems to be a pretty consistent day. And then towards the beginning of the season, it seemed like Monday nights and Saturday nights, and then they changed it
Mhm.
to Wednesday nights and Saturday nights. So this is not as frequent as Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. So if you are interested, tickets are probably going to be a little bit more in demand, only having 2 nights a week as opposed to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, where you may have 3 or 4 nights in a week that you can choose from.
So we do have some ride overlays that we sometimes see at the holidays. The one that sticks out to me the most is on Living with the Land at Epcot. They do add some lights in there, which sounds so silly and simple, but it really makes for a much more exciting experience on the ride. And you'll see little decorations throughout the greenhouse areas on that. I think it's probably the only time of year that the ride gets really popular in the evening hours. I think most guests tend to do that in the morning when they're first starting in Epcot, and then spend most of the rest of the day over in World Showcase. But you'll really see lines for this particular ride in the evening far more during December than you do any other time of year.
For good reason. Having the greenhouse lit up is really special. I like to ride it during the day just so I can see everything, and then at night because it takes on a whole new life at that point. So yes, I love living with the land to begin with. I cannot garden, but I sure do love hearing about it.
Also over in Epcot, the first year Guardians was open, that we had the different music for the holidays that added a lot of excitement. It was a bit of a bummer for a lot of guests, and then it was discontinued. So I still kind of have some hope that maybe we'll see that return eventually someday, but no rumors even on that at this point. So that may have been a one and done type situation there for Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot.
Yeah, and it seems like Disneyland has a lot more ride overlays, in
Mhm.
general that they do for different attractions, so I was kinda surprised the very first year when Guardians opened that they announced this, but I never got to experience it because I only did it once. It's very interesting, but at Magic Kingdom, though, we do have Jingle Cruise that
Mhm.
happens, and that happens pretty quickly after Halloween. They change that over pretty fast that they get all that, so, um
Yes, it's usually in place by the first Christmas party, right? Which is usually
Yeah.
around the 7th or 8th of November, depending on how the days fall. So that'll be a pretty quick change for that.
Yeah, I don't know. The first year that I experienced Jingle Cruise, which might have been this has not been something that's been at Walt Disney World for super long time, but I think the first year that I experienced it was about 2 or 3 days after the last Halloween party of the season. So it was
Okay.
very fast, but you still have all the cheese with some tinsel added in with this. They changed the joke. Um, so it is Christmas themed jokes and holiday themed jokes, and I it's wonderful because it's not and Disney doesn't overlay. They don't just decorate the sign out front. They're elements all throughout the entire attraction that are very, very neat to see. And it really changes the entire experience for you.
It's really difficult to try to explain the magic that you feel when you're at Disney World at the holidays, because it is an experience like no other. And I never want to lose just your regular, everyday, basic Disney park day, but there is just something extra special about visiting Disney World at the holidays. Everything has a little extra glow to it, a little extra sparkle that makes it a little more special than the rest of the year. So it's my favorite time of year to travel to Disney World. I try to do it as frequently as I can. It is so difficult with how busy the holidays are. I know with you, Rachel, you've got the three little ones and you have so much excitement to plan around that time of year. So I'm sure that makes it difficult. My kids are a little bit older, so I am so fortunate enough to have been able to start incorporating a trip to Disney World in the holidays with them, that they can come along with me and we can celebrate there together. And I hope that's a tradition that we can continue for years to come, because even when some things change and the kids are getting older and things like the Dream Lights or the Osborne Family Spectacle of Dancing Lights are no longer, there's still the magic there, and we're still able to go and create new memories with all of that fun and excitement of the holidays at Disney World.
Yeah, I completely agree. It really is. It's the most wonderful time of the year, and then you add in Walt Disney World on top of that. And when the sun goes down and the lights come on, it feels so special. I love each and every park at night. If they were open all night and closed during the day, I'd be completely happy with that because I love just the way they come on, take on a new life at night. But it really, as you said, Missy, it's amazing and it's so special and magical. And I really do. I would encourage everybody to at least take one trip during that time period and not forget about all the times that it's not decorated like that, because it's still wonderful and special and you're going to create many family memories. But it does take on a new life at that point of time during that point of year. So, one thing we did not mention, it's a huge thing at Epcot, Candlelight Processional.
How did I forget that? How did I not mention that? I love the Candlelight Processional. My last holiday trip was planned around the Candlelight Processional.
You had some big narrators during your
We
last holiday
did.
trip.
So this was not in 2024. This was in 2023, that we traveled in December and we were able to see Neil Patrick Harris and John Stamos during the same week. And for that trip, it was important enough to see the narrators that we wanted to see that we did schedule a dining package, the Candlelight Processional dining package for each of those days, so that we were guaranteed to be able to get in and get some decent seats, which we did. We lined up way early. It was silly on both days, but we did it. And it was great experiences with both of those narrators. It's nice to hear the story of Christmas, no matter where you are. But traditionally, we hear that type of thing only in church. So if you're somebody who wants to hear the Christmas story and you're somebody who loves Disney, incorporating that all together in a park is a pretty special experience.
Yes, it really is. It's a spectacular show to go and see. And something too, knowing some cast members personally, like this is something that they get excited about too. A lot of cast members will try out for the chorus so they can sing during the show. But, the times that I've seen it, it really does blow you away just how much thought and effort is put into it. So you mentioned the dining package. This is one of those things that I would absolutely recommend somebody get the dining package for. Guarantee your seat. You cannot guarantee it otherwise unless you do want to queue really early. And you would have to queue. Neil Patrick Harris, for instance, is probably one of the most popular narrators that they have every single year. And so his line is going to get very, very long, very, very fast. And people will queue for hours to go and see him do the narration on that. But as of our recording of this, those narrators have not been announced. It'd probably be a little bit until they are, considering that Eat to the Beat was just announced. The narrators are probably still lined up, but they'll be there for about 2 or 3 nights. They have some Disney classics. I know Jodie Benson has been there, the voice of Ariel, a couple of times in the past. I believe Paige O'Hara, the voice of Belle, has done that. I could be wrong on that, but I thought another Disney princess had. But usually Neil Patrick Harris, John Stamos was big, Edward James Olmos, if you're familiar with him. They have other big celebrities that come and they take their time out of their schedule to do this.
Yes, it is always a really fun experience. Last time when we went, one of the things that was the most striking to me about it was not only do they have cast members who are able to audition to be in the choir, but they have students from Florida high schools participate as well. So there would happen to be a mom seated in front of us. And while everybody was so excited to be seeing the celebrity narrator, she was so excited because her daughter was up on the stage. And it's just so neat that they offer that opportunity, this experience to students in different choral programs. Of course, they have to audition and go through a process as well to be able to be included in it. But all of those voices coming together as one large choir is just something really special to experience.
And the live instruments as well. I mean, it's magical. It's so magical. It's so unique. And I love that they do that. And I know the one at Disneyland is popular too. I've never seen that one, but it's less frequent. So it gets very crowded over there when they do that. But definitely get the dining package if you're interested in going to see Candlelight Processional. Guarantee your seat. People will plan their trips around narrators. So keep that in mind too if you
Yes,
are
they will.
going.
So we would love to hear from any of you who are listening now and have had an exciting experience either at Disney World during the holidays, a special memory you have, an experience with the Candlelight Processional, your favorite narrator, anything. We would love to hear from you, and you can go ahead and participate on our socials, either in our Facebook group, A Disney Life, or you can follow us on Instagram and participate there as well at a Disney Life Pod.
Today, our top five, we're talking about our top favorite souvenirs to bring home with us from a trip to Walt Disney World. So there are souvenirs all over the parks. There's Disney Springs where you can shop at World of Disney too. Everywhere you look, you're going to find souvenirs. So today we're going to bring you some of our favorites. So Missy, why don't you start us out? What's your number five top souvenir to bring home?
Okay, so my number five is actually an item that when they first debuted, I thought, this is silly. This is just an overpriced long sleeve t shirt. You may know where I'm going here, and it's Spirit
It's
jerseys. They have really grown on me. I wear them a lot when it's cooler outside here. I enjoy not just how they look and what they represent based on what the design is, but they're a good weight. They're not as light as a t-shirt. They're not as heavy as a sweatshirt. They're long sleeves. They're just perfect for like 80% of the days of my Pennsylvania life. So I love a good Spirit jersey. And with my entire top five, I kind of have the holidays in mind since this was a holiday episode, but any of these could also go for any type of year. So I
yeah,
do have some Christmas Spirit jerseys, but I also have Spirit jerseys that are just everyday Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, Disneyland Spirit
yeah,
jerseys.
yeah. The one that I have, it's red, white, and blue, and it came out around Memorial Day.
Okay, that's perfect.
But I love it. But they are nice because they're roomy too. They're not supposed to be a snug fit as opposed to some other clothing items that you might find. So they've got a little bit of room to wiggle in and move around in,
Mhm.
lounge around in as well. But yeah, so I've got one similar to that down the list, but not the Spirit jersey. So that one's unique to you on this week.
How about your number five? What's on your list?
So I would say like a tumbler or a stainless steel cup. I get one a lot of times when they have the Haunted Mansion ones. I love to see those. One of my favorites is a big stainless steel mug that I got from the Wilderness Lodge that is unique to the Wilderness Lodge. But I wouldn't say I'm a cup collector or a mug collector necessarily. But if I can find a good stainless steel cup to keep a drink cold for a couple of hours and it's Disney themed, I'm going to take it home with me.
Okay. Well, I'm kind of right there with you because my number four is actually mugs.
Okay.
I am a sucker for mugs. I am the person who will say to you, the last thing I need is another mug from my closet, my cupboard. And then I will turn around and I will see a mug that I think I absolutely have to have. I have accidentally passed this trait on to my daughters.
Oh no.
We have more cups than we could ever possibly use. Like we could host everybody we know in the entire world and would have a cup for everyone because we just have way too many cups here in this house. Every once in a while, I'll box them up and be like, okay, so these have to go. We don't need these anymore. These I'm going to put in the attic because, like, I don't know, maybe someday I'm going to need that cup. And, it's actually paid off for me a little bit, not financially, of course, but
Of
I'm
course.
happy that I stashed away a Polynesian resort mug and a Caribbean beach resort mug. I have a Port Orleans Riverside mug and I think an all-star music one, like from back in the day when they were resort specific travel mugs for the refill mugs. I'm glad I have those. Not only do we have the travel mugs, but we have some ceramic mugs too. I kind of tried to pause that collection because there legit was no more room. But my oldest daughter, Gracie, has recently started acquiring mugs. And I hate to tell her no, because she is old enough that eventually she will have a place of her own. And I feel like, okay, at least she will have mugs to use when
Yes, you
she
can
moves.
you can get some water when you go visit her.
And during our recent Florida road trip, when we stopped at Buc-ee's, and no way, no how do I need a mug, and I came out of there with a ridiculously giant Buc-ee's travel mug. So like, and I've been using it for water around the house
Yeah.
for the last week. So at least I'm drinking water out of them most of the time, and
Yes.
it
Yeah.
keeps you away from like picking up a can of soda or something like that. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So we
We
are
I
mug
wanted the
collectors.
Port Orleans ones too, and those were like they were like a barrel, like the with the
There
true,
used to be
yeah,
like the real, yeah.
yeah,
I know what you mean. I have a couple Disney Cruise Line ones like that also, and I feel like they maybe used to give them to you as one of your gifts on board at some point, like going way back, like maybe 20 years ago. And they were it was before people actually took them places. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like, I feel like at some point everybody transitioned from like, I'm going to sit and use my cup at my table or at my desk at work to like, now I'm carrying it with me in the car. And, now
yes,
we've got the cup holders in the car and the cups need to fit them. So, but yep.
yeah. Before
So
everybody
mugs was,
dehydrated all the time.
so your number five is my number four. So I guess on to your number four now.
All right. Well, my number four, this is pretty specific to my family, but again, I have three young kids, so we always come home with a stuffed animal of some sort. So, if you love Disney characters, you will find an endless supply of stuffed animals at the Disney parks. I love going down the Emporium at Main Street, especially has a great selection, as does World of Disney. My girls love the ones that are kind of like the baby ones. They're the baby animals that are usually wrapped up in a sling. They love those, especially my oldest daughter who is 6. She has several of those that she loves, and then my youngest just likes to take the sling from that and put it on one of hers that it doesn't belong on. But we usually end up with a stuffed animal. It is also something too. I like to get those for baby shower gifts as well. A lot of moms love to have like a stuffed Mickey or Minnie for their infant, so I like to grab one for baby shower gifts if I know someone who is expecting while I'm at Disney World. But stuffed animals for us have a lot of them.
That is a super sweet gift to get for somebody. We used to be stuffed animal collectors. I thought I had a lot of mugs and I thought that was the worst, but now thinking about it, stuffed animals is the worst. We have more stuffed animals than we should, for sure.
Mhm.
My youngest daughter, Annie, still has a Pluto that she got in the parks on her first trip when she was a year and a half old, and she
Aw.
still has that in her room and on her bed. Back then, instead of being in like the little sack hammocky bag thing that they're in now, they used to be wrapped in a blanket, just a little square blanket that was enough to Velcro over the top of them. Those little baby ones. Those are super, super cute. And actually, I'm kind of surprised I didn't think of stuffed animals for this list, because the first time I ever went to Disney World, I was 21 years old. It was 2001. And the only souvenir I wanted from that vacation was a big stuffed Winnie the Pooh.
Aw.
So, you used to like when you'd see the different TV shows that were like plugging the parks, and people go to the parks, and you go to a theme park or to a carnival or whatever, and the girl gets the giant stuffed animal from the guy, like, so that's what I wanted. So when we went to Disney World the first time, my fiance at the time, who is now my husband, bought me the giant Winnie the Pooh so I can carry it around the Magic
That's
Kingdom like a
super
fool.
sweet.
And it is still in my office today.
I love that. I love that.
But I guess I'm kind of like my kids are enough older that rather than going to stuffed animals for souvenirs, my number three is actually lounge fly bags or different types of bags, because we are suckers for anything to carry all the crap that we carry with us that we really don't need.
Yeah.
So what better way to do that than to buy a $90 overpriced bag that can not really fit important stuff, but fit all that little junk? Just this morning, my daughter was in the attic going through her box of lounge flies to try to decide which one she's taking on our upcoming trip, because it's like a whole decision every time based on the time of year and the specific style of the bag. There's a lot that goes into it. But I mean, I'm a sucker for bags too. I have way too many. And I do the same thing every trip of, which bag, which one is going to be ideal for this trip? What kind of water bottle am I going to take? And will it fit in there? Or do I need to take a little carabiner to hang my water bottle off of it? And it's like it's a whole bag thing. So
Yep.
my number three is for souvenirs is bags.
Last time I was there, they almost got me. They had a bag that fits around your tumbler, like a almost like a Stanley. And
Hmm.
I thought, "That's so impractical, but it's so cute." 'Cause I knew when I get to the store, I'm not gonna carry my cup with me.
That's right.
So there's really no place to unless you hold it with your hand, there's no other place to really have it. So and they almost got me on that, but yes, they do have really cute bags. I don't have any lounge flies. I think the designs are really, really cute, but a backpack with the thin straps for me at the parks is just so uncomfortable. So I usually stay away from those. But they do have a couple of crossbody bags that I've gotten over the years that are really cute. And I love when they have like the little wallets that you can get or just the card
Mhm.
holders. I do have
Mhm.
one from the 50th anniversary. It's got the country bears on the back of it. I love that
Oh,
one.
that's sweet.
Yeah, I carry that one around a lot. My number three, it kind of goes along with your number five. Instead of a spirit jersey, said a sweatshirt or a long sleeve shirt. I buy one almost every single trip, even in the 90-degree weather. I'm not gonna wear it during the 90-degree weather, but I'm gonna take it
Mhm.
home and wear it when it gets cool here, which usually doesn't happen until about late October. But I just love their sweatshirt collections, and they've had a really couple of a lot of nice ones lately with Cinderella's castle on them that have kind of been engraved or embroidered in gold, things like that that are really nice and really special. I have a few of those. There was one that I was looking for and I loved it. I wore it all winter and I saw it at a store and could not find it anywhere else. And I actually went to Wilderness Lodge and they had a few of them. And of all things, I didn't realize you could do this. I said, "Hey, can you tell me like where can I find this in a different size?" And they were able to look up what it was, what size, and tell me exactly where I could find it in another store. So I
And
appreciated
I
that.
feel like I think that's back to being accurate again. We did that years ago. And then a few years ago, when they started putting it on the app and you could look things up, oh, that was just a tragedy. That never worked accurately. But yes, we've done that before too, when there's something we need and like, they have everything from extra, extra small to 2 to 3 XL, but not a large. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
my daughter needs a size large. What are we gonna do? And
yeah.
they could look that up for you and let you know where you could find it. So of course there's no guarantee that when you get to that location it'll still be there, but at least you're not wasting your time checking places that do not have it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was there. They did tell me where it was, and I did find it, and I
Great.
found, the size that I needed. So another thing that even though this is not a souvenir, but one thing that I highly recommend if you're staying on property or for shopping at World of Disney, we like to ship some of our stuff home.
Mhm.
Thinking about World of Disney, it reminded me of this. So when you check out, they will ask sometimes if you would like to mail it home. You used to be able to from World of Disney. Now you have to go over to the co-op, but you can do it at your resort too. If you buy a lot of souvenirs over your trip, keep the receipt and go to your resort on your last day and say, "Can I send this stuff all to my house?" It's usually one flat fee, and they will do that. But you need your receipts because they actually kind of have to do a return and then recheck you out before they do that. But the last time that I did that, it was about $17 to send a huge box home. It got to my house about 5 days after I did. And it was so much nicer than having to either cram my vehicle if I'm driving or pay for an extra suitcase that I don't have with me.
We used to do that type of thing when my girls were little. They would point out things all week they wanted. Now, of course, every time you get off of a ride, you're exiting through a gift shop. And, you can't walk down Main Street without going through the Emporium. Back then, it was Mouse Gear at Epcot and so on. So they'd each get something like a little something, usually a stuffed animal early on. But then we would wait until the very end of our trip to go into the Emporium and do a big shopping spree. And then we would have it shipped right from the Emporium to send it home. Since it was being sent back to Pennsylvania, we didn't have to pay the Florida sales tax. So it often wasn't too far off from what we would pay in shipping to what we would have paid total with the sales tax. So it always helped us as far as our luggage is concerned.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. My son loves lightsabers. And so we have
They're never easy to pack.
no, they're not. I'll have those shipped home. We may buy one at Hollywood Studios at the gift shop at Star Tours. He does not have the super expensive one. He is 8 years old, it's gonna get destroyed, so we buy I think we have just about every color that they've made at this point, so I know one time I was on a trip, without them, and so I got each of them a gift to bring home, and I did get him a lightsaber because there was one in particular he had been eyeing, and so I thought, "I wanna get this now because there's no guarantee it's gonna be here when we come back in a couple of months
Mhm.
as a family," so I did that and had it shipped home, which was yeah, otherwise I'd be carrying a lightsaber onto a plane and just pardon me, I have work to do.
Nothing to see here. All
Sorry,
right,
what's
so
your number 2?
my number two, again, is something nobody really needs, but everybody needs. Mouse ears. I'm a sucker for mouse ears. I have them for every holiday. Like I said earlier, I don't often wear them except for at Christmas. It's just not realistic for me to wear them down there when it's hot. That I don't like to be uncomfortable. I
Yeah.
don't like to glisten, which commoners call sweat, and they make my head glisten a little bit more than I would like in the warmer months. They're just so darn cute. It's hard to not buy them. So I think, they're kind of the quintessential gift of a Disney trip, to have the mouse ears. So they're number two on my list.
Okay, so mine's kind of similar, but it's not the mouse ears because again, headaches and I don't I don't have a big
I
collection.
can't wait to see you soon and measure your giant head, Rachel, because I've
Thanks,
never
kidding.
noticed it as being too large.
But I said the engraved mouse ears hat. So the
Yeah,
one that
those
actually
monogrammed hats. I've seen
yes,
your
the
pictures of
monogram
your children. That's
yes,
adorable.
so each of my children, they have their own monogrammed hat, and you can purchase them at a lot of hat stores around the parks, but you can get yours monogrammed at the Magic Kingdom. It takes no time at all. They'll have you write the name on it so they spell it correctly, and
Mhm.
then they'll monogram it right there for you. If they have a long line, they may tell you to come back in an hour, or they can do it right then instantly. And so each of my children, when they were born, I got them a monogrammed mouse ears hat, and every single trip we go to the hub and we sit in one of the grassy areas. Usually if you're looking at the castle, we sit on the one kind of to the right, back behind the fountain, and I have them put on their hats and they sit there facing the castle and I take a picture of them. So I've been able to take a picture of them, watch them grow. And I started it once my second was born. So I don't have one of my oldest just by himself, but I started when my second was born. And then when my youngest was born, I actually did my pregnancy announcement with that. So I had their monogram mouse ears lined up, and then I had another one beside it. And so, we said coming November 2022. But then her first trip, she was 3 months old. Yes, I took a 3-month-old to Disney World. We can have a whole show on that sometime too. But we just kind of laid her down in the hub and I put her little mouse ears on a little tushy and took the picture that way with the kids sitting there. So
So sweet.
yes, I love it, and they're good sports about it now because 'cause they're not teenagers yet, but hopefully they'll be good sports about it then because it's happened.
They have no choice if they'd like to keep going to Disney.
Absolutely,
That's
yes.
the price they will pay. And I commend you for not only being consistent with this each trip, but for getting those ears there and back and not damaging them. They're not an easy thing to pack, the
No.
hat ones with those
Yeah.
plastic
Yeah, the
ears.
plastic ear's a little bit flimsy, we kinda have to be careful. One of them does need a little bit of replacing, but you can't tell from the back, I'll say that.
All right. I think we're down to my number one,
Yeah, we
right?
are.
Okay. So my number one is something that you can collect all year, although it is typically considered a holiday item, and it is an ornament. So I used to collect Christmas ornaments on every trip, and we had a complete tree disaster. We have a real tree, and it took a big tumble several years back, and many of my ornaments shattered.
Oh,
Yes,
no.
so we lost a lot of them, and I kind of discontinued this tradition because it was a little heartbreaking to lose so many fragile ornaments. We now wire the tree very securely. It's not going down anymore. Really, so we have an elf on the shelf that comes to our house at the holidays also. One summertime, it was July, and amazingly, she just appeared at our house and she brought us a replacement for one of them that was like over a 10-year old ornament that didn't exist anymore that she somehow got us and brought us and surprised us. So the girls were thrilled that we could replace that one. But I also had the just married ones, like the white ball with the Mickey and Minnie
Yeah.
on top. And that one broke. So that they didn't have the exact one anymore, but there's something similar. But I just love collecting ornaments in general. It used to be something that I would do anywhere that we traveled, and I kind of had to tap out on that because we had so many, like it just got ridiculous,
Yeah.
like everything else.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the trend with my list here. I have too many as it is, but it's just really a unique thing that your family can take, whether you travel annually to Disney or if it's going to be a once in a lifetime trip for your family, depending on what your situation is and how often you want to travel there. And ornaments just something that could be a really fond reminder of your trip. It doesn't have to be out all year long, and it'll still give you that chance to remember your experience at Disney.
It's actually my number one as well because it is so special and there's always new ones out every time that we go, and I love the ones that they did with the rides where you have the, attraction main building on one side and you turn it around, you kinda have parts of the attraction on the inside. I have a just married one, so my husband of all things, he got me one as our wedding present on our wedding day. I opened up a gift
That's so
was is
sweet.
because he had never been to Disney World until after we got engaged, and so he loves the parks with me and the kids, but he's not a huge Disney fan in general, so it was very special that he did that, but I love that, and we like to get one about every trip, just something that's special to us or meaningful to us, and
Mhm.
that we get customized. My kids each have their own ornament with their name on it that we got customized, but sometimes it's just a little ornament. We have a lot from the movie WALL-E. That movie is very special to my husband and I. That's the first movie that we ever saw together. So,
Wow, interesting choice.
yeah, we always laugh that we wanted to hold each other's hands, but we were kind of on a group
Oh.
date with other people, so it didn't
Oh,
happen.
that's funny. And I believe there are two stores at Disney World, two Christmas stores that are open year round where you can get ornaments regardless of what time of year you're traveling. So there is one in Liberty Square at the Magic Kingdom, and then there is another one over at Disney Springs. So you don't have to go with the holidays to get yourself a holiday ornament. Our reader question this week, our question of the week, is also relevant to what our topic was today. And it is, what is your favorite Disney World resort at Christmas time? So, Rachel, I'll let you take that one first.
There are some that are definitely iconic, as we've already mentioned in this episode. There are decorations at any resort that you can go to, but my favorite for the wow factor, for the uniqueness of it all, would be Animal Kingdom Lodge. I love the lobby any time of year. It is beautiful, but when you walk in and you have this huge, massive lobby and then this huge, massive tree filling up the entire space, it's special, it's magical. Love to walk around. You see, it has very unique ornaments that, play off the theme of Animal Kingdom Lodge. And Animal Kingdom Lodge is one of my favorites to begin with. And then they do Christmas justice. I'll just say that.
They absolutely do. It's definitely something special over there. Mine is similar, but I'm over at the other lodge.
Oh,
My favorite Disney World hotel at Christmas time is Disney's Wilderness Lodge. I think it is absolutely majestic to walk in there and see the giant tree in the center, the fireplace crackling in the corner, all of the cozy nooks and crannies around. I love the garland rather, that is over the railings, and the little snack shop that they set up in the lobby with their specialty cookies for the holiday. I just feel like it has such a cozy holiday feel to it. You kind of forget you're in Central Florida on any day when you're in Wilderness Lodge, but I just really feel like you have that very cozy holiday feeling at Wilderness Lodge at Christmas time. So that's my vote for my favorite.
if you're there at Christmas, go see the lodges, is what we're saying.
That's right. Yeah. See, even if you're not staying at them, please take the time in your trip to go visit the lodges at Christmas time. And you can visit them very easily from any theme park. You could take the bus to Animal Kingdom Lodge and then back to a park, or from Wilderness Lodge, you could take a ferry boat from the Magic Kingdom or take a bus from any one of the parks over to Wilderness Lodge to check that out on your stay. So we would love to hear from you. If you have any questions for us about anything at all and would like to be featured with our listener question, if you have any comments on anything that we've chatted about or would like to give us your top tips for anything, please contact us at a Disney Life at storybookdestinations.com or podcast at storybookdestinations.com. That's STORYBOOKDESTINATIONS.com. Just like it sounds. Want to make sure you know how to get that to us. You could also join in on our Facebook group. It's a group called A Disney Life, or you can follow us on Instagram and join in the conversation there. It's a Disney Life pod. So we appreciate you being here and listening with us, and we hope to hear from you soon. Today's tip of the week I have for you, and it kind of wraps into everything we've been talking about today. My tip for you is that when you are packing to go on your vacation, especially a trip at the holidays, leave extra space in your luggage because you will be bringing home more souvenirs than you think. Sometimes I'll even tell the kids, you can take a carry-on on the plane, but no personal item, or vice versa. And then I'll pack a flat duffel bag in with our suitcase so that for on the way home, we suddenly have this whole extra bag that we can pack to take along with us, because you will need more space than you think. Even if you're the under control adult in your group, you're going to find something you want to take home, and you don't want to have to leave that memory down there because of luggage fees. So plan ahead for that and leave space in your luggage. That's going to do it for today's episode 8 of A Disney Life podcast. Thank you so much for being here with us and joining us as we talk about our Disney lives together. We truly appreciate you being here and listening. If you would like to be a guest featured on our episode, we would love to have you here. Feel free to contact us at a Disney Life at storybookdestinations.com or podcast at storybookdestinations.com. Join in the conversation on our Facebook page and Instagram. We mentioned earlier in this episode how you can do that. Take care until we talk to you next time. Have a great day.
Bye.